Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, get you informed, fast.
And today we're going somewhere different. Really different.
Yeah, think remote. We're heading, metaphorically speaking, to a tiny island in Micronesia.
Yep. And what you find there, it's kind of stunning.
Absolutely. Imagine these enormous stone discs. I mean, some are as big as cars, weighing thousands of pounds.
Just sitting there in the jungles by the ocean, silent witnesses. These are the Rai Stones.
And right away, you hit this paradox.
You really do, officially. The story is they're a form of primitive currency the Yippies people used.
Well, that's not the only story, is it?
Not by a long shot. For a lot of people, researchers, independent thinkers, maybe even fringe theorists, they're asking bigger questions.
Like, could these be clues? Evidence of some forgotten global civilization?
Or maybe even alien artifacts, parts of some ancient, lost energy grid. The ideas get pretty wild.
And that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive. We want to explore one of the strangest, most unique financial systems known.
But also dig into the, frankly, profound mysteries surrounding these stones.
Yeah, our mission here is to really get into the sources, pull out those key bits of knowledge, go beyond the surface stuff.
Uncover some surprising facts, hopefully.
Definitely. So let's jump in. First things first, let's get a clear picture. What are Rai Stones, physically?
Okay, so visually, there are these massive limestone discs, almost always with that distinctive hole in the center.
And the size varies hugely, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
You've got some that are just, a few inches across, pocket-sized almost.
And then others are just colossal.
Yeah.
Over 12 feet tall.
Yeah, towering things. And here's the kicker. They weren't even originally from Yap.
That's incredible. So where did they come from?
They were mined in Palau, which is, over 400 kilometers away?
400 kilometers of open ocean.
Exactly. And the transportation itself is, it's a huge part of the mystery.
How did they do it? Moving stones weighing, you said, over 8,000 pounds.
Reportedly, the traditional explanation involves basic rafts, bamboo tools, maybe palm fiber ropes, just immense human effort and determination.
Which is incredible in itself.
No.
But then there's how they were used as currency. That's where it gets really mind-bending.
Right. Because once a Rai stone was put somewhere, it basically stayed there. It wasn't physically exchanged like coins or bills.
So how did ownership change?
Purely through stories. Through community consensus. Everyone just knew.
So if I paid you with a giant Rai stone sitting by the beach,
we wouldn't move it. The whole community would just acknowledge, okay, you now own that stone, even though it's still sitting by the beach where it always was.
Wow. That's a system built entirely on trust and shared narrative.
Completely. And it's baffled economists, anthropologists, sociologists for ages. It really highlights something fundamental about money, doesn't it?
It really does. The belief and trust are the bedrock.
Yeah, it wasn't about the stone itself, but the collective agreement around it. A powerful lesson, especially now, with our digital, abstract financial world.
Absolutely. That idea of tangible value versus agreed value, it hits differently with Rai Stones. And that transportation piece you mentioned, it leads right into this massive question mark. The impossible transportation theory.
Yeah, how did ancient islanders move 8,000-pound stones across dangerous seas with supposedly primitive tech?
The mainstream view offers explanations, like you said, bamboo sleds, ropes, canoes.
But for a lot of people, that just doesn't seem sufficient. It feels like a piece is missing.
So what are the other ideas?
Well, this is where it gets speculative. Some suggest advanced, forgotten technology from, ancient cultures we don't fully understand.
Like a lost high-tech civilization?
Maybe. Or even more out there, potential extraterrestrial help. People draw parallels to other megalithic sites, right? The pyramids, Baalbek with its ridiculously huge stones, Easter Island.
All places with mysteries about how massive objects were moved.
Exactly. And then there's a really controversial one, acoustic levitation.
Lifting stones with sound.
The idea that specific sound waves or frequencies could somehow counteract gravity enough to move these massive objects. It sounds like science fiction, but it's a theory that pops up.
And adding to the puzzle is the origin, Palau. You mentioned the mining.
Right. Our sources point out that, based on what we know, Palau didn't seem to have the tools needed to quarry and shape such hard limestone with such precision.
So where did that skill, that knowledge come from? It deepens the mystery, doesn't it?
It really does. It pushes people to think beyond standard explanations, which leads us neatly into the more fringe ideas.
Okay, let's go there. The alien artifact hypothesis.
Right. So this theory steps away from currency entirely. ancient alien proponents suggest maybe Rai Stones aren't money. Maybe they're technology.
Technology? Like what?
Well, the suggestions range pretty widely. Remnants of alien satellites, maybe. Advanced communication devices, or even symbolic energy transmitters.
And why those ideas?
Well,
What's the connection?
it often comes down to the shape, that distinct round disc with the central hole. Some see resemblances to, say, gyroscopes or flywheels, or even parts of electromagnetic coils.
I can sort of see the visual comparison.
And the speculation builds from there. Could they have been part of the lost planetary energy system? Maybe something like Nikola Tesla's ideas about wireless energy transfer?
So the stones as nodes in a global grid.
Potentially. A defunct grid, obviously. Or maybe markers, signposts for beings from elsewhere.
Which leads to the huge question.
If they were tech, what were they powering? What was their function? It shifts the whole perspective from just moving stones to, well, a potentially cosmic purpose.
And this idea isn't just limited to Yap, is it? There are reports of similar objects elsewhere.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Sources mention that similar large stone discs, maybe not called Rai, but physically alike, have supposedly been found in Southeast Asia, Easter Island, even parts of South America.
If that's accurate, that's huge. That implies something much bigger than one island group's tradition.
It could point towards maybe a forgotten seafaring civilization, one that spanned the Pacific, maybe even further, sharing symbols, knowledge.
And maybe even having contact with something else.
That's where some theories go, yes. Connecting it to ideas of a pre-flood or pre-ice age civilization, one mostly erased from our history books, leaving only scattered clues like these stones.
And the local Yepi stories themselves feed into this, don't they? The idea that the stones were always there, or that knowledge came from sky spirits.
It adds that layer of deep indigenous mystery. It suggests a narrative older and stranger than just primitive currency.
There's also the symbolism of the shape itself, that disc with the hole.
Absolutely. It's a potent symbol, isn't it? And it appears all over the world in completely different cultures.
Like what?
Well, you have the Enso in Zen Buddhism, that circle representing enlightenment, the void, the universe. You see sun discs in Mesoamerican cultures, solar symbols in ancient Egypt. It's a recurring motif.
So could the shape itself have some deeper meaning? Tapping into universal consciousness or cosmic alignment, as some esoteric researchers suggest.
That's the interpretation, yes. And then there's a tiny bit of, well, potential science that fuels speculation.
Oh, what's that?
Sources mention that minor magnetic anomalies have apparently been measured near some of the really large Rai stones.
Magnetic anomalies, what does that imply?
Well, it's led to speculation, and it is just speculation, that maybe the stones interact with the Earth's natural energy fields, you know, the concept of ley lines, these supposed energy pathways across the globe.
So the stones aren't just passive objects, they might be interacting with the planet's energy.
That's the idea, that they could be frequency anchors, designed maybe to stabilize or amplify planetary vibrations.
Which brings us back to, but why? What would be the ultimate purpose of something like that?
Exactly. What benefit? What goal? It remains a massive question mark.
And then there's the fact that some stones have vanished.
Yes, that adds another strange layer. Some were definitely taken by Western collectors, sadly. Others were destroyed over time.
But some just disappeared.
That's what the sources mention. Local whispers, stories of stones vanishing during solar eclipses, or being called back into the sea by, well, unseen forces. It sounds mythological, but it's part of the lore.
Like they have a life of their own.
It certainly paints them as more than inert rock. And it ties into this idea that maybe they weren't meant to be disturbed.
What happens when they are disturbed?
Well, again, these are reports and local accounts, but stories circulate about strange occurrences. Odd weather changes nearby. Local animals acting strangely, going silent.
And even affect some people.
Yeah, rarer accounts mention people experiencing vivid visions, unusual dreams, even episodes of missing time after interacting with or disturbing certain stones.
Coincidence.
Nah.
Or is there something else going on? Maybe something protecting them.
It's impossible to say for sure, but it definitely fuels the enigma. Are these ancient objects guarded somehow?
And if these stones held such deep, maybe even spiritual or technological significance, the idea that they were replaced by a conventional money system becomes, well, potentially darker.
That leads into the banking conspiracy angle some sources explore, the theory that our modern banking system might have been influenced by or even deliberately designed to supplant the Rai system.
How so? What's the contrast?
Look at the Rai economy, based on trust, stories, legacy. Value was visible, communal. Then look at modern banking. Interest, debt, invisible numbers flashing on screens.
They're different foundations.
Totally different. And the theory posits that colonial powers might have actively suppressed the spiritual communal side of the Rai Stones. Why? To implement a currency system that was easier to centralize, control, and ultimately profit from.
So Rai Stones become this sort of symbol of a lost alternative.
Exactly. A reminder of a system where value was maybe more grounded, more sacred, tied to community and the earth, not just manipulated by hidden forces and market fluctuations.
It connects to these whispers of hidden knowledge, maybe even forbidden archaeology.
Right. Sources talk about claims, and again, these are often unverified claims from archaeologists or UP's elders who supposedly suggested origins for the stones that challenged the official story and were then silenced.
What kind of claims?
Things like finding stones made of materials that aren't actually native to Earth, or stones displaying a perfect symmetry that seems impossible with ancient tools.
Oh, okay, that's provocative.
And it goes further. There are alleged whistleblower accounts, stories of hidden chambers found beneath some of the biggest Rai stones.
Hidden chambers? Containing what?
Supposedly sealed vaults. Inside, reports claim were glowing inscriptions, symbols that looked remarkably similar to ancient Sumerian or even legendary Atlantean texts.
That sounds like something out of a movie.
It does. And predictably, the narrative around these claims often follows a pattern.
Which is?
Suppression. According to these accounts, whenever such a discovery is rumored, the site gets locked down. A restoration project gets announced, access is restricted, and the official story is firmly reset.
Which naturally makes you ask,
who might be hiding the truth, and why? It adds a layer of potential conspiracy over the whole enigma.
So wrapping this up, we're left circling back to the fundamental question, what are Rai Stones?
Yeah, are they just an unusual form of currency, like the textbooks say?
Or powerful symbols, tapping into something universal?
Alien artifacts left behind, anchors for some ancient planetary energy grid.
Or maybe some combination we haven't even grasped yet.
It could be. I think what this deep dive really highlights is the importance of asking these questions, of looking beyond the simple, accepted answers.
Daring to consider what might have been missed or ignored or even deliberately hidden.
Exactly, because perhaps these stones aren't just waiting to be cataloged and studied in a museum.
Maybe they're waiting to be understood on a much deeper level.
And who knows? If we can unlock their secrets, maybe we'll uncover other profound truths hidden away in the forgotten corners of our world.
Something for all of us to think about. What else is out there waiting if we just start looking past the obvious?